views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Wouldn't it be nice if we were older? Then we wouldn't have to wait so long. And wouldn't it be nice to live together in the kind of world where we belong? No one's gonna make it that much better when we can say goodnight and stay together. Wouldn't it be nice?
Hi, and welcome to Good Medicine. I'm Counselor Holly Davis, and we are live on WWDB-TV here in beautiful, hot Las Vegas. It's starting to be summertime, and I love summertime. I love the heat. I love the desert. But the next couple months get a little muy caliente, shall we say. Speaking of muy caliente, today's show, I was thinking about calling it Sex, Heartbreak, and Cheatin'. And no, it's not a country song. We're talking about relationships today. And we are going to cover those things. We're going to cover some really important things about relationship. We're going to cover connection, the work that is required, the self-work that is required in relationships. And it's hard work. We're going to bring you back to self, as we always do in this program. I seem to find an ongoing theme of know thyself, coming back to who am I, what do I want? And when I know myself and I'm really clear and sure what I want, it's much more easy to have relationships and even friendships, even work relationships that are, let's say, fulfilling, and another really great word, reciprocal. So what I put out, I get back in. It's not always someone take, or I'm not always take. I had a good friend who told me once that takers love givers, right? And so really you can continue to give and give and give in all your relationships. But really when it comes to intimacy and relationships and connection, what everybody wants to be loved. It's so important to take care of yourself first, to love yourself first. Love your neighbor as yourself. It's kind of like this divine rule, really. When you love yourself, when you take care of yourself, you're so much more able to have something else to share with others. So when I'm fulfilled and I'm filling my life up with the things that I'm here for, what I'm meant for, my true life purpose, my legacy, my destiny, and I'm overflowing and fulfilled, it just can't help but release those springs to other people. And that's really important. And even as a parent in your relationships with your children, your family, your friends, and how you are with yourself is a really good indication of how you are with others. Think about that. Your relationship with others mirrors the relationship that you have with yourself. And if your relationship with yourself is not healthy, and you don't love yourself, and you're not working on yourself, and you're not investing in yourself and giving back to yourself as much as you do to others, then you'll find in your relationships that it is dry, that you're short, that you find flaws quickly, that you begin to pick people apart if you're doing that for yourself. So we're going to talk about those things. We're going to talk about the list, things that I'm looking for in relationships. We're going to talk about healing in relationships, beginning with healing ourselves. And we're going to talk about how to have loving, lasting relationships, fulfilling relationships, connection. People need people. We need each other. And that's why we have this program today on Good Medicine. Sex, heartbreak, and cheating. That's actually just to lure you in, because I really would love this show to be about really what every single human needs, and the answer to all of our relationships is love. Truly, some great philosopher somewhere, somehow, all you need is love. And isn't that true? It really is true, because love never fails. You can never have a relationship where you weren't loving that you can look back and regret. Love never fails. So please stay with us. We're going to take a small baby break on Good Medicine. When we come back, we're going to come right into the relationship part of our lives. That's every song you hear on the radio on the way in was about relationships. The relationships that don't have a lot of depth, lifelong relationships, friendships. Most songs on the radio, they're about this one thing that is most important to all of us, because we all want love as relationships. So stay with us on Good Medicine.
Crazy Terry here with your car care tip of the day. Today's tips on cooling systems. This vehicle's got about 182,000 miles on it, so if you're checking the coolant, check the hoses too. Just feel them and see if they're soft or any signs of fatigue for the mileage on it. They don't feel bad, they look like they're still the original hose, but you want to make sure you don't go too long with these hoses because they will eventually deteriorate, cause a problem. In this case, this car's got a visible leak. The customer brought it to us. We'll pop the hood and check the cooling system. First, we just relieve any pressure might be on the cap. Remove the cap. Take a look inside. We see it's kind of low. Now we'll start our inspection. What we found on this one is the top tank is leaking. It's got a crack in it. Pretty common for these plastic radiators to do that. We want to get to a shop right away because severe engine damage can result from overheating condition like this. In this case, it was pretty easy to see the crack was right on the top tank, but a lot of times we'll have to pressurize the system to locate the exact leak. Could be a hose in the back, could be underneath. Some of these are hard to find, but in this case, a very common leak, the top tank. When we're testing a cooling system, it's okay to use just water, but you want to make sure when you're filling it up properly, it's a 50-50 mix of antifreeze and water. It needs the water to make the chemical work, so don't just put straight antifreeze. 50-50 mix is the best way to go. Keep it clean, keep it rust-free. So as you can see, we got a pretty active leak. You got to get this fixed, or there's going to be some engine problems. If you're going to top off your own coolant, it's really not that hard. If you got a radiator cap, just make sure it's not hot. Take the cap off and take a look. In this case, we're pretty full here, but what we have is the overflow jug's empty. So we'll just add that. Once again, check your manufacturer's specs to make sure what type of coolant you have. In this case, we're using the good old green. There's gold, there's red, there's yellow, all types out there. Just want to make sure you're staying with your manufacturer recommended coolant. And that's really all there is to it. The cooling system is a major component. You'll want to service that regularly. If you have a problem, it could be too late and cost you thousands of dollars. If ever you have a problem, come into Sun Valley Automotive. It's no charge to look at your cooling system. This is Crazy Terry with your car care tip of the day.
If I had it all, could I make it without you? If I did it all, is it worth it without you?
Hi, I'm Holly Davis. I'm a counselor here in Las Vegas, and today we're talking about relationships. I don't think that I have ever had a counseling session with someone that we didn't talk about relationships, right? And so they'll say, well, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And I always say, well, what do you think about it? And that's the most important thing. What do you think about your relationship? So today you can maybe take a little bit of an inventory about maybe the past relationships that you've had and the current relationship and the relationship that you would like to have. And that is not just an intimate relationship, a partner relationship, love, marriage, union, unity. It's really about all of our relationships. It's the relationship we have with ourselves. It's the relationship we have with our closest friends. It's the relationships that we have with our business partner. And if you'll notice anything, the people we work with, if you notice anything about the relationships, you notice that relationships have a lot of ups and downs. They have cycles, right? So you might have friends that you were really tight with maybe 7, 3, 5 years ago, and then today maybe you're not that close. That's just the relationship. They wax and wane. You might have gone through struggles and hardships with that friend. You guys were really close, and then some of the hardships are time, space, things that they're into, you're not into, because we grow and evolve. Maybe just separated you, but you still love that person. I like to think of my friends. I have a lot of wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friends. People I have incredible relationships that you've taken the mask down and lived life with. And some of us were just in different places in our lives, and I still respect and love the relationships that we've had. I'll always treasure them. I'll carry them in my heart. But then as we grow and move on and go on to new things, maybe they're not where we are. So it's not even a matter of letting them go. It's a matter of letting them grow, and you're growing as well. And then when you reconvene and you see each other again, you pick up, and maybe you don't spend as much time with those people that aren't going kind of in the same direction that you are, but just being aware that that's really just like life. There's seasons to every friendship, and you can take them for what they are and grow from each and every relationship experience that you've ever had. And hopefully the people that really, really love you care about your spiritual growth and your growth overall. They care about your well-being. That's really one of the best rules of relationship and love is, does that person really care about me? Do I really care about that person and their growth? Because if you do, sometimes in relationships, you might have to go your separate ways. And there's some indicators for you if your relationships are not fulfilled, they're not happy, they take a lot of work, they're too hard. That might just be something that you want to take into consideration and inventory for yourself. If the relationship causes you a lot of depression, anxiety, and grief, then maybe those are the relationships that you can feel free to let go of when you're ready. I can say, let go of that relationship right now, and it's only when you're ready. Or maybe when you come to that realization, when you're ready, when you come to that realization, you may be able to let some of those relationships go. So maybe when you're a teenager, you used to sit around and like write the person's name and write their last name with your last name. Anybody else do that? Or am I the only nerd that did that, right? And you'd come up with a list, right? So let's look at our list now. I'm a big believer in lists. I love lists. But let's look at your current list if you're in a relationship now, or if you're looking to have a relationship in the future, an intimate partner relationship. Here's some of the things that we do. So I did a consensus here in the studio, and here's what men would be looking for, right? And the first thing on the list wasn't beautiful. The first thing on the list was a sense of humor. And a sense of humor usually goes hand in hand with their spirituality because, and I quote, God has a sense of humor. So I like that list, starting out on that list. A confident partner that is an equal, that they're independent. And I want to say that goes for financial independence, and it also goes for emotional independence. If you're always coddling someone emotionally, that's really not your partner's job. They shouldn't be rah-rahing you or talking you down off a ledge. You can have a counselor for that as well, or your best friends. But your partner is really, there's times when your partner's going to be down and you're going to be up. That's just the cycle of life. They're going through hard things. Your job might be doing great. You're feeling great. You're in the gym. You're eating good. And your partner might be on a downslide where the job is not as fulfilling, not eating as healthy, That's really common, right? Even with our friendships, right? Or sometimes you might both be in a lull, and just being cognizant and aware of that, but you're not the person that's always rah-rahing and, hey, stay in the ring, stay in the ring. You are partner. You're there, you're listening, but you're not fixing, carrying, hen-picking, telling them what to do, control freaking, those kinds of things. Allowing. And hey, pray for your partner. I think that's a huge, huge component to friendships and partnerships is praying and caring. Hey, we're in this together, right, JPEG? We're in this together. Another one is to be comfortable in their own skin. This was some of the men around here, their consensus of what they're looking for. Being comfortable in their own skin, feeling confident, that is really, really attractive. But I would say that it was being confident and not arrogant. Arrogant is ego. And some of that I actually find funny when someone's really over egotistical. But it really isn't a practical way to be. So how does that person be? How do I feel around that person? That's a really, really good indication. Okay? And on mine, of course, women, we would think that handsome would be first on the list. I'm sure when I was a teenager, handsome is first on the list. But honestly, when I think back and I look back to my list, the number one thing on my list is a spiritual leader. A leader. Someone who is able to lead. I can't follow you if you're not leading, right? And I don't necessarily need to follow you or build my life around you. We're doing our lives together. And if I have spiritual depth and leadership, then I need you to have spiritual depth and leadership as well. So that spiritual leadership in leading yourself, guiding yourself, having that kind of consciousness and awareness self, and then being able to lead others into that caring for your soul and hoping that that person does better spiritually. To me, that's very attractive. When you are aware and a enlightened person and spiritual things are fascinating to you and it's something that is your foundation, to me, number one, attractive. That's, hey, this is my list. You get your own list, make your own list, whatever your list is, okay? But for me, that's really attractive. Someone who is confident spiritually and they have their epistemological self-consciousness down. Epistemological self-consciousness is, I know what I know and I know why. I've done the research, I'm on a sure foundation. That is really an attractive quality in people in general, right? And of course, I would put financially independent, right? How about this? How about responsible with money? Responsible with the things they're stewards over. Because so I'm tweaking the one that I had since I was a teenager. And then, you know, how they be, how they are. It's not really about their looks. It's who they really are as a person, whether they're in sweatpants and the hair's messy bun, or if they're perfectly coiffured. Really, how they're poised, how they carry themselves, how they feel about themselves is really an attractive quality. If they have some depth, intelligence. Did you know that that's the one thing that keeps people together longer than any other quality? Is not attraction. That can wax and wane. Is intelligence. That is something that can be very consistent. I always say to my kids, if you can have a cup of coffee with them every single morning of your life and have a great conversation, you might be on the right roll. So did you know what a sapiosexual was? It's someone that you really find their minds attractive. So you're attracted to people who, it's what's in here, not out here. Because really, 90% of all that we are is in here. Everything else, this 10% that we to try to have a relationship based on this is pretty much failure. Can I just say that? Pretty much failure if you're basing your relationship on what's the outside, or sex, intimacy. That intimacy, that kind of connection with someone without knowing their mind and their heart is fleeting at best. So we're going to talk about some of those things too. And then something else that I recognized in my list was that if I'm going to be asking for someone to be all this on a list, then I probably better be all that on a list too. So I changed the focus of my list from this is everything I need you to be and want you to be, to this is everything I want to be. So let's scratch this list. I like it. Let's just put this in the file of niceties, right? Those are nice lists. But what about things that you would like for yourself? What would you like to be? Do you want to be financially independent? Is that important to you? Start being financially responsible, maybe have some savings, have some plans, like thinking of life like chess. What are the next few things that are coming up ahead for me in 3 months, 6 months, and a year? 3 years from now, where do I want to be? 7 years from now, where do I want to be? Where do I want to be when I'm retired, and what do I want my retirement to look like? You know, when you're 24, I don't know if you think about that as much as when you're 44, but today's a good day to start that list. That's a really good quality if you're looking to really build a life with somebody, nest, have children, those kinds of things. Those are some things you might want to be interested. If you're not interested in those kinds of things, it's fine. You can still start on what are the things I want in my life. And when I'm going this direction, because I have a path of my own apart from my family, I was put on this planet for something, then when you're going that direction, then people automatically will fall in line with the direction that you're going. And if I'm on a boat and I'm heading for a shore, I don't need somebody on that boat or directing or leading my boat. But it's nice if the people who are going the same direction, we're going towards the same beach, that we have some of the same ideas and concepts, but they don't have to have all the ideas and concepts that I have, right? It's nice to have somebody who has a different point of view, who might see something I don't see. They might not, they might see better land ahead, or better whatever it is, or a better way to get there. And being open to those things are great. But building your life and your ship and your whole life around other people can lead to disappointment. Even in ourselves, in our own list of the things that we want, we can be disappointed in ourselves and where we're at in life, but we can always start over. We can always start every single solitary day. So financially, you're not where you want to be. Welcome to planet Earth. Anybody financially exactly where they want to be, right? I know I read about, what's the lady's name who wrote the Harry Potter series? Does anybody know right off? Yes. J.K. Rowling, right? And she's not where she wants to be. Billions of dollars, and she's not happy with the amount of money that she's given yet. And she gives it away. Gates, Bill, and what is his wife's name? I want to say Melissa Gates, right? Melissa Gates. They are working on giving half their fortune away, and I think they're into the, I want to say, I know it's billions. I wanted to even say, I'm not sure. They just have a lot of money, a lot, and they work on giving their money away, half of it. Like, okay, I have enough. I'm working on giving this away before I go. So those are really great. So financially independent, nobody's exactly where they want to be. What baby step can I take today working on myself? Can I be? So financially, what about looks? Okay, looks is such a huge thing right now. Body concept, fashion. I mean, you can change your looks. Just take a picture of yourself and change yourself on your filters. I mean, it's not hard. However, I want to caution with that, with pornography and what's on the silver screen and what's on your Facebook or your Instagram or your Snapchat. You know, that's so filtered. And you know, real human beings with real skin on is who you'll be living with, not the picture, right? You want your friends to be real and take that mask down and just be who they be. All of you. The good, the bad, the ugly, the old, the young, the beautiful, the rich, the poor, and really start living those lives of really just being authentic. And some days you're going to feel better than others, and I really am a huge believer in taking care of yourself, taking care of your soul first. So the first part of my day, I'm just taking care of my soul. I'm cleansing my house, I'm saging my house, I'm praying over my house, my family, my friends, my future, my business, and the people that I work with. This program, I'm always thinking about what can I give that would really leave an indelible mark on someone's life, that's not just here today, entertaining, and gone tomorrow, something that will last for people, that they can really sink their teeth into and would help them. So I meditate and I pray and I research on those things that would fulfill my soul first, and then maybe feed others, right? Because then when I'm blessed and I'm fulfilled, then I'm able to give out to others too. But then, of course, I want to take care of myself, because it's not self-care. Michael Murdad, he's a really great speaker and teacher too in Sedona. He was saying that, you know, when you do self-care, it's already in love that you're doing that. It's not, I'm going to start taking care of myself because I love myself. It's in love. Yes, I'm going to floss. Floss like a boss, right? Floss if you love yourself. Yes, you can quote me on that. If you love yourself, floss. Take care of your teeth, your health, your food, what you've eaten, because I know when I'm eating better and I'm taking care of myself and I'm hydrated, then I feel better. And when I feel better, you know, better is better. When I have taken care of myself and everything that I can do as far as presentation, then it makes me feel good. Now, I can't just go to Neiman Marcus and buy whatever I want, and you know, there's ways around that. There's opportunities to find things that are less expensive that might make you feel better, and it's not even about buying things or what you wearing or how you present yourself. It's how you are with other people that's so much more important, because they don't see you like you see you. When you see you, you see the flaws and you want to pick yourself apart. And I want to say, please don't do that. Please love yourself. Loving yourself a little more every day, right? How about if you love yourself and take care of yourself and you're confident and you know who you are? Getting to know yourself better is a real huge key in really fulfilling, exciting, loving, laughing relationships. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. We're going to take a break. We're going to talk about the hard work of relationships. So the hard work of relationships starts with self. Make your list today of the things that you want to work on in your life. And remember, give yourself a break every single chance that you can, and then more likely you'll be giving other people a break. Make your list practical, thinking about things that you want in your life, that you want to change in your life first. And then trying to change other people or fixing other people, it doesn't work. I can assure you, I can personally guarantee it doesn't work. Accepting, loving, and loving people just the way that they are is truly a key to having fulfilling relationships, especially starting with yourself. So stay with us on Good Medicine. We're going to come right back talking about heartbreak, talking about sex, talking about cheating, and talking about how tough relationships can be or how easy. Stay with.
The golf store you've been waiting for is now open. Bob Allen Golf is ready to help you take your game to the next level. Bob Allen Golf is located at 6415 South Fort Apache, Las Vegas 89148. Choose your favorite clubs from our selection of Bridgestone, Callaway, Cleveland, XXIO, Srixon, Ping, Wilson, and more. We'll custom fit them in our state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulator. Come hang out with us and practice on our putting green to find out which club is perfect for you. Have your clubs repaired, reshafted, and regripped in our on-site tour shop. And talk about accessories. Guys and gals will feel comfortable and look sharp in the many sizes, colors, and options of apparel from Greg Norman, Black Clover, Under Armour, and more. The team at Bob Allen Golf takes your game as seriously as you do. Join our online family at WWDBTV.com and stop in the store to meet us. Remember, at Bob Allen Golf, your game is in the bag.
Hi, I'm Counselor Holly Davis, and this is WWDBTV. Good medicine. It's good medicine for the soul. Prescription for the soul. Today we're talking about relationships, sex, heartbreak, and cheating. So on the break, I tried to get up, and JPEG told me 20 times not to get up because I'm connected to this chair with the wires and of course I got up, and he's like, "You're just like a woman not to listen, right?" What's so funny about that is that no one listens. No one listens. Men don't listen. I get that all the time. My husband doesn't listen to me. My friends don't listen to me. My kids don't listen to me. My dog doesn't listen to me. Women don't listen to men. Men don't listen to women. And so, you know, the books, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, those kinds of a thing. Here are some actual books that might help a little bit with those listening and communication skills. The 5 Love Languages, Gary Chapman, great book. And The 4 Agreements is a great book as well, Ruiz. So those are some books that will help us a little bit with communication. And with all people, learning to get to their place and space and how they be with communication is a really good key. So if you're just observing, being retrospective and introspective, how you feel in a conversation, how you be, and then when you chime in, when you're listening and really actively listening to a person, not on your phone, not distracted, but really with some person and being with that person, and you listen to what they have to say, maybe even look eye. Wow, what a beautiful thing. There's nothing more intimate than looking eye or the face. The face is the most intimate thing, touching the face. That is preserved for the most intimate relationships, right? This place and space of being with someone, there's really no more beautiful connection on the planet where you can take a mask down and just be yourself with that person and really be in the moment. That is worth a lifetime, right? It keeps you going when someone really cares for you and listens to you on that level and then speaks to you on the same level, in the same way that you speak, listening in the same way that you listen, and really maybe even speaking in the same tone that you do, so that they feel aligned and they feel heard. That is a really beautiful concept in communication. And really, there is no greater arena than your intimate relationships, your marriage relationships, or your long-term relationships, to really teach you who you are and how you be. And really, I believe that's the design. is you really learn who you are. And some of it's just not that pretty. Children, they're so happy to tell you just exactly who you are and how you are and how you be. That's one of our favorite things is we sit around at the dinner table and they're, Mom, remember when you said go do your homework and eat your dinner, or eat your dinner and go do your homework? No, eat your homework, whatever. So it's, they love to point out the flaws, or when you, like, remember when you threw, you know, a big fit mom, and those kinds of parenting foibles and flaws, or in your relationship. You know how we throw things back at each other. Remember when you did that and you said that and you didn't listen to me then? So these are just testings. And there is no greater testing than in a relationship. And that's why I feel like right now, when it comes to our intimate relationships in the 21st century right now, with the dating and the online resources and the online things that we have going on, it's just so easy to keep an arm's length distance relationship where I really won't let you in fully, because then that would be asking of me to take the blocks down and the protector down and have to open my heart for maybe failure or maybe get burned. And hey, you know what Pink said, if you get burned, it doesn't mean you're going to die, right? You got to get up and try. And if you really want those relationships that are really the life changers, that you're sitting on the rocking chair when you're 90 years old and you look back and smile and think about that time that you let somebody in your life, that you grew the most, that might have even been the most painful. Those are the most precious things, and that's really why we're here on planet Earth, that testing in relationships. So it's not test you in that way. I'm not just going to try you on and see how I like you. Those are shallow relationships that, yes, they're still going to leave a mark in your life. They're still going to leave a scar on your heart, because you cannot have a sexual, intimate, close relationship with someone with no feelings. I just want to say that again. You cannot have those kinds of intimate relationships and just walk away with no tethers and cords around that person. It's impossible. We're human beings. We're not animals. We're human beings with skin and hearts and consciousness. So it's not possible. And I think one of my favorite quotes was the Pope. It's not this Pope, but the Pope previously. It was several years ago. I heard this. He said, you know, you can't have sex with someone and lie with your body. You're lying with your body with that person. You're saying something that you don't really mean when you have sex with someone that you don't love. And so having those relationships, it seems like it would be really easy and you're protecting your heart, but really you just do further and further and further damage, because it's arbitrary. Our soul's just like, what? I don't get it. I don't understand, because those kinds of relationships are meant for intimate, loving relationships. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If that's not true for you, that's okay. I really do think that it's honoring yourself, at least, when you have relationships with people that you care about, that you do love, and maybe you're not in love, but someone that you care about and that you love, and give it some value. And I feel that when you do have those kinds of relationships that have value, that you will feel better about you. And as far as my family, my children, what I teach my daughters, I think in terms of what I would want to teach my daughters and tell them about themselves, that they're very valuable and that they're very precious, and to remember that. All you girls out there, remember that. So, and to all you guys out there, if you had a daughter, how would you want them to be treated? How would you want another man to treat your daughter if you had one? Now, if you don't, and that's not a concern for you, you will. You will have one in the future. And I think it is about treating people the way we want to be treated, and especially in intimate relationships. Never taking for granted the fact that that person has a heart and a soul, and you would be responsible for their heartbreak. More importantly, the most important heartbreaks that I'm concerned about, that I'm the heartbreak doctor here, is really the heartbreaks of self. The biggest heartbreaks are when we didn't listen to ourselves, when we had flags in relationships or intimate relationships and we didn't listen to ourselves. There's no greater heartbreak. And so really, truly, you got to be clear to hear. You can't have all the data and the beta and everything that's going on in electronica or social media. You've got to really listen to yourself. And in relationships, please don't listen to what other people say. It's not important. It really isn't. They're not the one who has to live in your soul, in your heart, beneath these eyelids. It's you. Listen to what you have to say. And if you need to, write it down, because that's when we head for Heartbreak Hotel. So yes, relationships are challenging. They're tested. There's no greater arena for testing to discover who you are. And believe me, when you're in an intimate relationship, it's going to be pointed out to you every single day what your flaws are, what their flaws are, and how we work on this. How do we work on, how do we get through, if we do? And some relationships don't. The first year of relationships are love. And the rose-colored glasses, we don't really see much of the flaws, right? Just perfect. That person's just so perfect, right? We don't see. Then the second year, the trials and tribulations you might be in, you may still not see all the flaws, but there's some testing. And then if you make it to the third year, well, then you know that you've built yourself on a solid ground of a relationship. So then you keep going, you keep trucking, you learn to live with this person and learn how to communicate and appreciate that person and honor that person and respect and being considerate of another person. These are advanced skills, right? And it takes a lot of our character, and there's a lot of flaws in human beings and the way that they were raised versus the way we were raised and how we're still growing up together, right? And so there might be times when you find that you're even tested more. And it goes into the 7th year, and you heard of the 7-year itch. Well, it is true psychologically. We know that in-love feeling, those euphoria and all the hormones and the energy, that attraction, those kind of things may wax and wane, and especially when we get to the 3rd and the 7th year. And at those times, those are the times that you would take into consideration. Is this relationship going to work? Is this going to last? Am I going to choose in? Am I going to choose love? Am I going to choose joy? And now this is where I always turn relationships into, you're not building your life around this person. You're building your life, and this person is going with you. That's why I always say, the more healthy you are, the more healthy your relationships are going to be. I've even heard it said that the more you don't need that person, the healthier the relationship is. So when you are strong and you are of good character and you are a good person and you're always working on yourself first, then those relationships tend to be a little easier, and especially with your friendships and your intimate relationships. How are you with your family? How are you with the people that you work around? So that's why relationships are so hard, because it's really usually not really about the other people. It's about me. So taking that look in the mirror, that's a really hard one. I'm talking to the man in the mirror, and what have my relationships been like in the past? And what would I like my relationships to be now? And in the future, what would I like them to be like? And you're the only one that can determine it. It's not that other person. It's really not that other person. You know, meeting Mr. Wonderful or Miss Wonderful or Prince Charming, I think that's great and I think that's wonderful. But if you've connected energetically and just spiritually, physically, mentally with another person, and you guys have had a great relationship, that is a blessing. That's a rare and beautiful thing. You can be grateful and thankful for that. But really, when you have a relationship with yourself that is rock solid and you are happy and content and just feeling fulfilled in that relationship, then you're not always looking for other people to fulfill you in those relationships. And at the end of the show, we're going to play a song. It's called Call Off the Search. And a lot of times in my small groups or in my sessions, I'll play this song for a client. I ask them to, instead of thinking about someone who's just going to come in, an angel, and rescue me, I want you to think of in terms of you being the angel that rescues you, that you take care of you in that way. You meet your needs today. No one else is going to knock on your door and say, hey, how can I make your life better today? That's going to be you. And when you do that, your relationships in every facet are going to be so much more fulfilling and strong. Another assignment that I give to my clients quite frequently, and I always do the same assignments with them too, so it's not saying you do this, I work along with my clients as well, is I'll say go get a card. And you know how, have you ever had a card from a loved one that was just so perfect? Because that's how close you are. They just knew that this card would be perfect for you. No one has a more perfect card selection than you can for yourself. So I'll go get a card for myself, and then it'll be perfect. It'll be just what I need. Thank you, Holly. And then I'll find it a couple years later, and it seems to always be right on because I know me. I can find a perfect card for me. So I found one the other day for myself, and it was actually it was an angel, and it said, you know what, you've really been an angel in my life, and I appreciate you. And I chose that for myself because I really, truly do believe that the times that have been the hardest for me that I've really gotten through were when I got myself up and made myself get up and gave myself the compassion that I needed. And if we don't do that enough for ourselves, it's going to be really hard to continually give it out to others and not be bitter, disappointed, upset, hurt, heartbroken. We have to do it for self first. Being disappointed in other people is going to happen when we're looking for them to fulfill us. They can't. They're just human beings. That's a lot of pressure on another human being to make you happy. You already know the secret ingredients to making you happy. So the more healthy you are, the healthier you are, the more healthy your relationships are. We're going to take another little break, and I'm going to give you some more resources. We're going to wrap up the program. We're going to talk about really how to have continually healthy relationships. What else can I do? What's the next step? Stay with us. This is Good Medicine.
The world is a beautiful place, and we want you to look beautiful with incredible, comfortable clothing from LuLaRoe with Becky's Blessed Beauties. Becky will personally assist you on your clothing adventure with sizes from extra, extra small through 3X. Feel good about yourself wearing our unique styles, one-of-a-kind prints, and fashionable colors. LuLaRoe is a family-owned business that cares. Want more? You can become a retailer like Becky with a profitable opportunity that even earns free cruises. For online sales, home parties, fundraisers, and her special ticket Tuesdays, call or text Becky at 702-413-5554 and join her group page, facebook.com/groups/LLRBeckyM/. Have a beautiful life with Becky's Blessed Beauties.
Hello and welcome to Good Medicine. We're actually wrapping up today's program about intimate relationships, and I really truly hope that this helps and speaks to your life. We all want love. We all want to be in love. And you know, there's no greater love than loving yourself. I believe it, and it's a life journey, and it's not something that just happens today. Some, resources that I really, truly do enjoy are The 5 Love Languages, Gary Chapman, The 4 Agreements, Ruiz, R-U-I-Z. Those are really great books. I'm reading a book right now, too. I'm going to give you that information at the end and read a quote from it. But just to wrap up, what we talked about before we left is cheating. I know we didn't mention that yet, but cheating, the most important thing that we can do on a daily basis is listen to our intuition, and especially with relationships, your intuition, not your mama's, not your best friend, not the neighbor, what other people think. It's really, truly what you think about yourself and your relationships. And cheating on yourself, I'm going to give you examples. In a relationship is when you see flags in the relationship that you don't like, that you ignore. That's cheating. So, for example, you're in a relationship and they put you down. And you go, oh, they're just having a bad day. No, that's a flag that you need to listen to. All your biggest regrets in relationships are when you continued to see flag after flag after flag that you didn't listen to. You don't have to be kind when it comes to, or be polite when it comes to those flags coming up to, if you're going to offend them. When you give somebody the gift of honesty and you say something like this, and you can say it in kindness, but being assertive and not aggressive, and say, I don't like being talked to like that. No one puts me down. And you give them that gift of honesty. And then, you know what, if it happens again, then you're going to continually, you might hear an apology, and I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. And then if it continues to happen and you continue to just cheat on your values. For me, a value is I'm not around people that put me down. I can honestly say I don't have one friend, close relationship, work relationship, family relationship that people put me down. If they do, I don't interact with that person at all. I love them from an arm length distance. I don't cut them off from my life, but I don't play well with others or play at all with others who put me down in any way. That's just not tolerated in my life. I've put up with that for many a year before, and when's enough? I don't want to be around people that put me down. Shut up, that's not even allowed in our home. We don't ever even say shut up in our home. So those are some ideas of cheating. I'll give you another example that we can just put in the vernacular. Today, I was getting ready and my son was watching YouTube games, video games, and I hate that. I don't like him watching those programs. I need it to be intellectually stimulating in some fashion. It has to be educational, and that's my rule for my house. And I let my son know, when you have your own house, you can make your own rules. For me, I don't even like electronica at all. Like, you prefer you to be playing, especially before you're going to camp this morning. I'd like you to not watch that. And so I know that I'll leave the room and he'll turn it off, and then he'll turn it back on. And so today, to not cheat on my own soul, my own values, I said, don't turn it off and then turn it back on when I leave the room, because you're cheating yourself when you do that, because I asked you not to do that, and you know that's my wishes. And the other thing is that I didn't want to cheat myself, knowing that when I left the room he was going to turn off. So I made sure that he changed it. I watched him change it, and I said, and if you don't, it's fine. I'll just turn off all the electronica for the rest of the day. Those are your choices. So that's another example of not cheating on yourself. Working with people that give you the heebie-jeebies. You don't like the way they talk to you. You don't like the way they act with you. You know, what can you do differently? You're not stuck where you are. If someone is not talking to you nicely and is not respectful to you, it's going to be hard for you to be inspired to want to give your best for that person. It just is. Or to feel good about how you're earning money. So those are areas that we just continually cheat on ourselves, and it's not that bad. They're just having a bad day. And I think, yes, but you can take in consideration, give grace and mercy all the time. I think that's true. But I always feel like giving the gift of honesty is probably one of the best approaches. So I might marinate on it for a couple days and not respond in anger, and come back and later say, you know what, I really want you to know I'm gonna tell you something because I love you and I care about you. I want to share something with you. When you said this to me, it made me feel like that, and I didn't like the way that felt at all. And I just want to let you know that's how I feel when you say things like that. Could be something like that. And you know, that might be, that giving that person the gift of honesty, I know when people have told me like it is, has always been some of the things that have really changed my life, and especially when it comes in love. I will say that when someone told me like it was when I was at work, or when I was doing something, a knucklehead when you're growing up, and someone just responded to me in a way that wasn't in love, but maybe in anger, you know, that was also a life changer too. If you'll listen, you'll get some of those cues, and maybe you'll change, because you don't want to hurt other people. We don't want to put our output as always hurting people. So those are just some things that happen in relationships. But cheating on yourself, hearing the flags, not liking the way you feel when you're around that person, really listen to that. That is so, so, so important. And the most important thing in a relationship is honoring yourself. Honoring yourself and how you feel in that relationship is at the apex. That's the number one thing. Now, with your kids, if they're talking disrespectfully to you and you let it go on and on and on, then yeah, you're going to be bitter. You're going to be disappointed. You're going to have hurt feelings. You need to teach them how you want to be talked to, just like in your relationships at work, like your intimate partner relationships. Teach that person how you want to be talked to, and I guarantee you that person's going to teach you how they want to be talked to as well. It's the mutual, right? So honoring yourself, listening to the flags. This book is the one I'm reading right now. It's called Alchemy of Love Relationships, Dr. Joseph Michael Levry. I've been enjoying this. You take some of it and you leave some of it. However, I've enjoyed most of this book, and it comes from a very spiritual perspective. The alchemy of love relationships, the change that takes place in all of our relationships. And I'm going to leave you with this quote. He said, "It's our responsibility to individually and collectively contribute something positive, healing, and uplifting to our planet. If you want to improve the world, improve yourself. And if you want a community to serve you, serve your community." Amen on that one. All right. So I'm Holly Davis. This is Good Medicine. This is WWDBTV, and we are live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time-ish. Right here on WWDBTV. Please join us next week and share this with your friends if you think that someone else needs it, or listen to it again and again and see if there's some things that you can get out of it. And I'm also open to any input at info@hollydaviscounseling.com.
won't spend my life waiting for an angel to descend, searching for a rainbow with an end. Now that I've found you, I'll call off the search, and I won't spend my life gazing at the stars up in the sky, wondering if love will pass me by. Now that I found you, I'll call off the search. Out on my own, I would never have known this world that I see today. And I've got a feeling it won't fade away, and I won't end my days wishing our love would come along. 'Cause you are in my life where you belong. Now that I found you, I'll call off the search. Found you, I'll call off the search. Now that I found you, I'll call